Hi there. So, if you have kids at home around the holidays, you're familiar with this guy. He's the elf on the shelf. Um, the whole idea is he shows up every day in different places all over your house, and he's supposed to be watching if your kids are being naughty or nice. So, this is a permanent fixture in a lot of households with children. But eventually, the child grows up and at some point, Mr. Elf here has to retire. So I'm asked to make a retirement chair for Mr. Elf here since his children are too old for him now. And it's time for him to hang up the stockings, so to speak. So this throne is mostly going to be insulation foam. And I'm just kind of eyeballing this thing, trying to make sure that the elf actually fits. If you're familiar with any of my work, you know I don't do too much measuring. Here's the Pythagorean theorem using an angle. No, not really. Putting it together, kind of trying to see if this works out or not. If not, I could always just recut the foam. So I've cut a thin slice here to use as little trim to kind of cover the edges and cover the seams a little bit. One thing to remember when you're doing this much cutting with insulation foam is you really need to have a really sharp knife. Or else it's just going to squeak a lot and make that chalkboard fingernail noise, and it's really unnerving. It's coming along just fine. Pretty basic, pretty simple. I don't know how I'm going to actually embellish this. I want to kind of stay true to form with my work and kind of make it a little darker, but we'll see. It is a Christmas elf. So I'm using polymer clay to make antlers, like reindeer antlers, to kind of have it come out of the throne, the backrest of the throne, to make it a little bit more imposing, hopefully. Kind of starting to look like chicken feet, but hopefully they kind of look like antlers. I don't know how big I should make these. I want them to be imposing, but we'll see. I mean, it shouldn't be that scary. It's an elf throne. So I'm using these metal bead stickers as studs for the chair, kind of a little bit more detail to it. Now I'm gonna add some etchings in it. I'm drawing these two reindeers or elks to represent the two kids that the elf used to watch, and I'm putting in Elvish script for the initials of the two children that he used to watch. I'm not quite sure if it's Dungeons and Dragons Elvish or Lord of the Rings Elvish, but definitely not this Elvish. In all seriousness, I just googled Elvish script. I didn't really bother looking if it's Dungeons and Dragons or Lord of the Rings. Adding in some more runes all over the place, some sort of, I don't know what this is, some sort of circle that I saw pictured on I think a Viking throne. So yeah, this is becoming more and more Viking-ish, that's for sure, but I like it. Adding in some fake fur that I got from I got this entire bolt of fake fur from Walmart at like a ridiculous amount, like $4 or something like that, but here it is. It's conjuring up some sort of Gaston chair vibe, that's for sure.
I use antlers in all of my decorating.
So I'm base painting it with a mixture of glue and black paint. And now I'm gonna dry brush some titanium white. Since it's a Christmas theme, I'm going with white, red, and maybe some green for the entirety of the throne. You can see that I went with like a little bit of a Viking theme. I thought about making it more whimsical since it's a Christmas elf chair, but I changed my mind. I really wanted to stick with this idea. It's like a little bit of Lord of the Rings, something you'll see in Rohan. I'm saving the over-poured paint. I hate wasting paint. If you have a better idea of how to do this, let me know. Adding in some red. I'm gonna put some little stripes here, like candy cane stripes, to make it a little bit more Christmassy at least. And some red highlights, and I chose like a darker red. And here's some green. I'm going to use the green to color the studs to create some sort of contrast. And you can tell that it's not the bright green. It's more of like a mossy green that I went with. A little bit more highlights in little pieces here and there. That way it doesn't look so grim. Well, it's still a bit dark, but not so dark and grim and too gritty. Now I'm gonna make the antlers a little bit dirtier, not make them look so bright and white, to make it a little bit more of a natural color. And some more highlights, I guess. And that should be it. All right, well, this elf is officially retired. His kids are, I guess, old enough to not need him anymore, so I was tasked to make a retirement throne for him, and here it is. It's a little bit more Lord of the Rings-ish, a little bit more like fantasy elves as opposed to Christmas elves, but that's what I do. I really didn't know anything else. I'm not I couldn't do anything that's too whimsical or too festive, I guess. But I'm happy with it. It's giving off some like Beauty and the Beast Gaston vibes here, like Gaston's chair. So I like it. I really enjoyed making it, and it's time for this guy to retire.